Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Observe and Learn. I try to do that all the time. My favourite saying is you learn something new every day, and if you live your life by that, you will learn something new every day, and that's honestly the truth. Anyway, that's all kind of conjecture to this particular question, and this was in response to Behringer released the Behringer UB-Xa, an SMR I did in November 2023, and I can tell you at the time of recording this, I do have my Behringer UB-Xa. It is in the goldfish bowl. I have been playing with it. There will be videos to come. Anyway, that's completely by the point. And it says, Observe and Learn says, this synth will become known as the GameOverheim and finally squeeze the nostalgia analog synth market back to realistic prices. Thank you, Behringer. Still loving my deep mind. Get ready to lose your SHIT Sweetwater list it for $1199. Now, I do like the phrase GameOverheim. I think this is an absolutely cracking phrase. And the reason why I like it is because it is kind of, I know Behringer are this divisive company. People love them or they hate them. But they are shaking the market up a lot. They are probably putting prices where prices need to be, and I think some of the other manufacturers are starting to really look at this model that Behringer have got and the fact that they are stealing their old tech. As I said, there are a number of people who probably disagree with that statement, GameOverheim, and I probably get a whole raft of comments down below that says you don't know what you're talking about in the normal sort of keyboard warrior style. But I do believe that this company is really starting to upset the apple cart. You know, why are you paying so much for a synthesizer? I think the right price for a good quality synth is somewhere probably between $1,000 and $2,000. You know, some are going to be cheaper, but I think, you know, for a good synth, I mean, you know, Roland have done it with the kind of the Jupiter X and the Juno X line. They squarely come in around about £1,500 in the UK. And I look at that and say, well, you know what? Is that worth £1,500? Now, personally, I don't have the Juno X. I do have the Jupiter X, and I have to say the Jupiter X is an absolutely peachy machine. Is it worth £1,500? Well, I thought it was because I bought one. And that's kind of the thing. I think, you know, given what it can do, I mean, the downside to it is you have to have a Roland subscription, of course, cloud account. But given what it can do and the replication and how close it is, by all accounts, to the original Jupiter 8, which was what it was styled on, I have to be honest and say, I think those two synths are actually probably worth the money. I mean, in fact, actually the Juno X, I think in the UK, has just come down in price. Not by a lot, £100, £150, but it's come down a little bit. Maybe that means it's going to go out of stock soon. But what I would say is that I think Behringer, looking at the market, looking at the technology that's available, looking at how you model some of this old stuff, and looking at what the demand is in the market for reconnecting with these old synthesizers, drum machines, whatever it happens to be, I think they are really upsetting the apple cart. And that GameOverheim is a sort of a mark to those that have and can afford to own an original Oberheim and their rationale behind owning the original Oberheim, and those that want the sound of an Oberheim, want the style of an Oberheim, but have not got the deep pockets that an Oberheim would require you to have in terms of purchase and maintenance. Next comment or question comes from Roy Mayer in response to, love both the SY77 and SY99, you should keep the Roland D70. A mailbag I did in December 2023. And Roy writes, I've just restored a D70. Restored the keyboard, installed a new display, recapped the power supply and the outboard and replaced all the tack switches. It does have a limited ROM, but actually it sounds great. I love that filter, and the DLM bass patches just do it for me. I'm not selling mine either. Well, thank you, Roy, for the feedback on the D70. Now, I've said many times that in addition to a number of rather peachy sounds from the stock banks that the D70 has, and some of the cards that I've acquired over the years, I find this synth a very, very good keyboard for controlling other instruments. It's 76 keys, so it gives you pretty much the full range you need. It's not an 88 key keyboard, but then how many of us really use the lower octave and possibly the top octave as well? So a 76 key in a lot of instances is actually a good compromise in terms of a synthesizer. I always find the 49 note keyboards always lack an octave for me personally. So I always prefer either a 61 or a 76 key, but sometimes that's not what the manufacturer gives you. So you have to roll with what they do give you. But the keyboard is very nice to play on the D70. It is a slightly different. It's a different keyboard, I think, from the D50, which was the keyboard that superseded it. It really wasn't a D series synthesizer. It was a U series synthesizer, and you can tell that by looking at the boards inside where it says U50. So it was meant to be the next U series Roppler from Roland, rather than a D series linear LA synthesizer. So, you know, it was kind of mismarketed, if you like. But like you, mine's not going anywhere anytime soon.